So, welcome. Hi, Cheryl.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm gonna not say much because this session is just absorbing Cheryl's information all about home educating. I'm gonna ask first of all, can you just introduce yourself? Why are you so important to the home ed people out there?
Okay, so I'm Cheryl. I home educated my own kids. They've now aged out. And many years ago, there was a need for a service to provide information about home education. So me and some friends created it. So we created Educational Freedom, and we have website and all our social media accounts. And we're there to free information and support for any question or query or problem that a home educator has.
Excellent. And I'm going to say all your web link, Facebook groups. There's many.
We've
You've
got
got
many.
many Facebook groups. Are all going to be in the details below. Okay, so if at any point you can just click on that, join the groups, and find out everything you need to know. But this interview here is going to be what we're going to talk about today, Cheryl.
The first thoughts of wanting to home educate, and then how to start that ball rolling, and those first few months of home educating.
Yes.
Um, I think it's important to address those questions and worries that people have that we can't easily address in writing. It's
No.
best to have a chat and to go
It's
through.
so much easier to speak to someone. That's what I'm finding with people. Like they'll message, and I'm like, "Can I just call you?" It's so much easier than just messaging.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry if you do inquire on national tutors, you will. You'll have to have me answering the call because yeah, well that's what I'm here for as well, just to make sure
And
they're
now you've got
choosing the right options and know exactly what to do, and I can guide you to this video and the rest of them as well, so that you are aware of what you got to do and structure and legal rights and everything. That's what we're going to talk about. But
exactly.
yes, right,
You
I
link.
am thinking about home educating.
Yeah.
Cheryl, what do I need to do?
Okay, so it's really good that those that are coming to you are now going to have this option of all this extra other information. So lots of families choose home education just because they like the idea.
Mm.
School might not have failed the child, they might not bother trying school. So that's one cohort that just ease from young childhood into home education. But then there's a lot of people that have children in school who aren't happy. They might be being bullied. They might have special needs that aren't being met. There could be all sorts going on that is making making school not the right place for the child.
Unpleasant, yeah.
So what I would suggest those people do is weigh up their options, know that home education is a choice, and school doesn't have to have failed completely. You don't have to have given them time and time again to fail your child. You don't have to have that reason to home educate. You can just choose to.
Isn't school actually something you got opt into? Isn't home ed?
Yeah. So when you sign your child up to school, you're choosing to school.
Yeah.
If you don't sign them up in the first place, you just carry on as you are and you are home educating and opting in to the service. So one of the things that's sort of really important, like I've just said, is you don't have to have been failed. You don't have to have shown that you've tried time and time again. At any point, you can just choose to home educate.
Yeah.
By all means, try fixing things if you want to, but you don't have to. When it comes to special needs, what we would suggest is working through the EHCP with the council, with the local authority, if you want to. If you don't want to home educate, then if there's an EHCP, fight. And there are organisations out there that can help you do that. if you don't want to home educate, you've got to force the council to do their bit to provide a suitable place for your child. So if you do decide, okay, school's not right, I want to pull them out, it's also important to remember that home education doesn't have to be forever. If that's what's putting you off making the decision for right now, you could change your mind at any time in the future. You could decide you only want to do it for a few months, a few years, just primary. It isn't a forever decision if your child wants to go back to school in the future. So yeah, it's really important, and you're welcome to reach out to us to talk through your options. Come and join one of our groups and chat to other home educators.
Yeah.
That's really important, is that contact with other home educators, because what your experience is probably not alone. You're not alone. Others will have had the same.
I certainly say that to people when everyone phones. It's like I had a call this morning about being bullied and wants to home ed and that, and no one is alone. But it's almost like they feel that they are alone, that they're the only ones going through it because they don't know much about it, which is why I want to do these videos to say, just to make people aware more than anything. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things we see in the group or by email when it's just one-to-one with one of the team, is that they say, oh wow, okay, so I'm not alone. I mean, there's 100,000 plus home educated children. That's a lot of people nearby to you. There's hundreds in every local authority, and then tens of thousands in our groups. You're going to find somebody to talk to that's had the similar experience. And between me and my team, we've got a mixture of experiences ourselves. So you're not alone. We do understand, and you're welcome to talk to us or any home.
Who are your team? Because I know you told me before that you got different specialists, haven't you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, we've got different levels within the team. So the core team, we have a specialist with knowledge of dyslexia. We've then got and home education in general. We have a lady that knows the law so well, it's scary. I thought I knew it well.
You do know it well. So that's it. It's scary.
She knows more laws. I'm focused on home ed. She knows all the others.
Wow.
As well. Specialists in EHCPs. We have, oh, my brain's gone dead. Neurodivergence. We have Wales admins. So every area of home education we have covered. And there's the rest of the team that do the social media accounts and all the posts and the newsletter and all those kind of things. So yeah, we're a diverse bunch. So you're always find one of us is more than able to help with whatever the problem.
Yeah, brilliant. So deregistering, is it as straightforward as they?
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's
it's really important that we clarify that it's currently February 2025 and the advice is correct as of right now. We are expecting the laws to change at some point. People read our blog and news section of the website, they can read all about that. And we will update as soon as anything changes. But right now, if your child is in a mainstream school in England or Wales, it is as simple as when you pick them up on their last day or the morning that you don't want them to attend, you email or post a letter in. It's best to use a template because wording is important. We've got template letters on the website. And that's it. Your child doesn't go back. If they're in a special needs school that obviously is arranged through the EHCP, it's a little bit more complicated. You need to write to the local authority and explain how you will meet the child's needs.
Right.
That and they shouldn't withhold consent to have the name removed unless they don't feel that you can meet the special needs. It's not about teaching like a school, it's about meeting their special needs, which we go into more detail on our templates and that part of the website. But That's the actual process. Unfortunately, some schools and local authorities don't follow that process. And one of the educational freedoms sort of main focus is giving people the information to help themselves. So we were big advocates of you, the home educator or possible home educator, learning the legalities, and that's where our website comes in. It's written in language we hope everybody can understand, and if anyone's confused, email us. One of us will be able to explain further. So sometimes schools say, no, you can't deregister without permission, or you've got an EHCP, so you can't. It's not true. We've got failure to deregister letters on the website. And then if things still aren't settled, you reach out to us. And we will make phone calls. We will write letters. We will sort you out.
Excellent. Yeah, that's brilliant. I had a question, and I was going to say, right, so that's England and
Wales.
England and Wales. So what about elsewhere? Because you were
So
talking
Scotland, it's a letter that basically asks them to deregister, and you need to provide a bit of information about the kind of resources your child will use.
about.
There's a template for that on our website that our amazing admin Stacey wrote. And the home education guidance has just changed in Scotland, so we've updated the website with that.
Yeah.
And again, they shouldn't unreasonably withhold consent. It should be a straightforward situation. But if you run into any difficulties, Stacey or one of us can help you with that.
Fabulous. Well, so it is quite straightforward.
Yeah.
My other query that quite a lot of parents ask is, what do I need to be doing once I home ed? You know, do they need to be following curriculum? Do I need to prove this? What's about the local authority? It's that's scary. That scares them because they're worried about fines and getting into trouble. So what can you share? What's your words of wisdom?
Okay, so the way you just said home ed just reminded me. Let's go back a bit and cover something that me and you have both noticed, as have most of the home ed community. The term homeschooling. If you have it in your head that you are homeschooling, you are going to think curriculums, you are going to think structured, being checked up on. And that's not what home education is. So homeschooling in its sort of legal sense means your child is registered at school but can't attend, so the local authority and school provide learning at home. Once you deregister your child from school, you are not homeschooling, you are home educating. And that confusion in language changes how you think. It affects what the local authority do. Schools can refuse to deregister because they think they're going to be providing the learning. If you say homeschooling, it has a knock-on effect, and the media use it against us, and it's messy. So always try to refer to it as home education. So the first thing to do is try to stop thinking like school. That is one way of providing an education. And you've chosen to home educate probably because school isn't right. So what we suggest is a period of deschooling. Now, unfortunately, the government misunderstood what deschooling was and wrote it into guidance that it wasn't allowed. What it really means is time to get school thinking out of yours and your child's system. Doesn't mean no education. It means taking a step back a little bit, letting the child figure out who they are and how they learn. That's learning. So we explain deschooling and all the other styles of home education on the website as well. You need to not jump straight in to school-like learning. Yes, that is a way that suits some children, and most children straight out of school think that's the only way to learn. But you need to not. You need to just take a step back, let the child figure out what works for them. So you can't be fined once you've deregistered. You can't get into trouble for not doing school at home. All styles of learning are valid. Some people use terms like unschooling, autonomous. semi-structured, structured. They're sort of the core choices. But most families fall through a mixture of those, and it changes throughout time anyway, whatever's right for the child. So those first few weeks, sometimes months, the child might have trauma that they need to work through. They might need to focus on their mental health. They might need to focus on just day-to-day living. Or they might have plans that they want to go to university in 3 years, if they're an older teenager, and that they need to knuckle straight down and get on and achieve what they need to achieve. Reading our website will help everybody understand all this process, but you've got to try to find the right words. You've sort of got to trust the process in a way, and trust that things will fall into place as the child adjusts.
And not panic.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You instantly panic. I mean, I've had my son, he dropped out.
Yeah.
You're like, he's got to be doing something. He's under 18. He's got to be doing something.
So you don't actually, once you reach 16, you are not of compulsory school age. So you can actually get a job or do whatever you want once you post 16. You can stay in bed, you can go to college, but you don't have to. So if you decide to start home education post 16, that's a whole different matter, and probably something people should read on the website because it's quite complex. But yeah, got to try not to think like school. You've got to take that step back and see learning in all the different ways that learning happens. So cooking, baking, playing with Lego, going to the shop, talking to your next door neighbour, it's all part of learning.
Yeah.
Education isn't just sat to the table with a book and being taught. And I know you're a tutor, and for some children that is perfect. It's them, but it doesn't suit everybody. So if you decide to try a tutor and you think, oh my God, this is horrible, this is not working, that's fine.
Absolutely fine. Yeah. You've got to try these, that time. So you need to experience different things and different ways. Even with, like when we teach revision, which I do, and they do it at school, but there's different learning styles, and you've got to establish what learning style you are.
Yeah.
To then maximise your capabilities of revising. And that goes with anything, really, lifestyle.
And that's the other thing is, if you are going to find a tutor, you need to make sure that they understand home education and that they're not going to force school type learning if it's not right for your child. And that's a learning curve in itself, for the tutor as well. And you have to be careful that they're able, if you're doing GCSEs and IGCSEs, that the tutor understands the difference. But I think we'll talk about GCSEs and exams maybe another. But yeah, so once you, on that first day, something I say a lot is go out. Go jump in puddles. It doesn't matter how old any of you are. Go jump, climb a tree, eat cake, go watch a film, go visit Nana. Just live and be. Especially on that first day. Because if your children wake up on that first Monday morning and you have a lesson plan and you're teaching them, I can promise you by week 6 or 7, you will hate each other. Yeah. You are parent, not teacher. Most home educators don't consider themselves a teacher. They're a facilitator. So if you, on that first day, say, right, kids, come on, we're off out. And you go climb trees, you go feed horses with permission. You do whatever it is that makes you all happy. If you're not outdoor people, go do something indoors. Play games. And then on day 2, see what the kid asks to do. Is there a castle nearby? Do they want to go and have a wander around there? Do they want to watch a documentary? Do they just want to crash in their bedroom? Work with what is right for the child. And when your child says, oh, I'm bored, don't try forcing learning on them. Leave things around, books, games, art materials. they will figure out for themselves how to entertain themselves, and they will figure out how to learn as well. And it's that process. For some kids, it's a matter of days, others it's months. I mean, for one of my children, it was years, but that was school trauma.
Yeah.
But he's now a university student, you know, all of his doing. And I didn't teach a thing the whole time they were home educated. It was all child led. So there's different ways, different approaches, but those first few days, weeks, don't force feed school at home.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I mean, as a parent myself, you just panic. You
Yeah.
just panic. But
Yeah.
they do need that downtime and find out, because I always ask parents, it's like, well, what do they enjoy doing?
Yeah.
What is it they want to do? You know, what do they want to do next after GCSEs? And if they don't know, we'll just go, right, if you want to choose GCSEs, pick ones that you know that they will enjoy or they want to do, that
Yeah.
they find of interest. Because there's no point. Home Ed is not forcing them to do those 8, 10 GCSEs.
Yeah.
That, I just hate languages. And why do we have to do language? Don't want to do it. So,
and of course, GCSEs aren't compulsory anyway.
no.
There's other options. So, like I said, local authorities misunderstand what that deschooling period means. So it's best not to actually say the word deschooling when the local authority makes contact. And a lot of people think that once they're home educating, they're going to be told what to do, how to do it, that they've got to explain to the local authority, or they've got to meet the local authority, that they've got to answer to a higher person. You're in charge. Nobody else is. You are legally responsible for providing a suitable education to your child. And that's what we advocate: reading our website, learning the law. It's not that complicated. It might seem it at first, but with time you'll come to understand it. But you do need to know it quite quickly to avoid the common pitfalls.
Yeah.
So the local authority has the option to make informal inquiries. Informal, that's the key. However, the letter, the doorstep in with the person on your door, or the phone call might not sound informal. It might sound, well, usually sounds
They put
threatening.
these like legislations on there, like,
We are coming to see you in 3 days. Not, would you like to meet us? They're quite aggressive letters in most local authorities, unfortunately. And some misquote laws, some willfully lie, some are lovely. But some are. Sometimes you get contact within hours of deregistration, all the way through to never. So I can't even say that there's a common time frame, that there is one. So it's not your job to notify them. Once you've deregistered from school, you've done your bit. That's it. If school cause problems, again, we can help you deal with that. But the proper process is deregistration. That's it. Local authority can make informal inquiries. Now, they'll ask for a visit. They'll send you forms. They might turn up on your doorstep. They won't tell you that it is up to you how you communicate with them. You can choose what's right for you. We suggest keeping things in writing. It makes it easier and simpler. You have evidence of what's said by both parties, and there's less chance of personalities coming into it, which is quite a lot of the problems that we see. But how to communicate with the local authority when they make these inquiries, again, is on our website. So there's a lot to the process, but in short, you need to provide information that explains that you are providing a suitable education, and that it means it is suitable to your child's age, ability, aptitude, and any special needs. It doesn't mean following the curriculum or anything like school. And your child is not behind. Once you start home educating, your child is where your child is. There is no such thing as behind.
No comparisons.
No. So if, for example, your 8-year-old is reading at a 4-year-old's level, that's not behind. That's what they can do on day one. So when you provide information to your local authority, say in 3 months' time, you can say, since we started home educating, my child has now moved up to age 5 level books, or is now willingly reading for fun. They've picked
Yeah.
up magazines, or they're reading subtitles. What and you would say something like, when they left school, they couldn't do this, they now can. What the local authority are looking for is that the education is suitable to your child. They're not comparing them to school or what they'd be doing in school. They just want to know it's right for your
Yeah.
child. And I think that's something parents struggle to get their head around.
Yeah.
Especially those that aren't following a curriculum or formal style learning. Well, how do I prove that they're learning? Well, you're not proving anything. You're just explaining to satisfy their informal inquiries.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
So you've got to include all those informal learning as well.
There is, I've read somewhere there's, I don't know if it's to do with homeschooling or home educating, but they've got to have a minimum of 12 hours of learning a week.
Load of rubbish. Look at me.
Yeah.
No, it's neither. There is no such thing. So home education, once you get your head around that it's not just the formal stuff, happens at every waking hour. There is no legal description of full-time education other than something along the lines of it taking up the majority of a large portion of the child's time. If you get homeschooling provided by the council, you might get 4 hours a week if you're lucky.
Yeah, I know, it's not much.
No, and then it's usually not suitable. So no, when it comes to home educating, it has to be, you have to describe how it's full time. But like I said, that could be we sit down and read for an hour every morning. We use the rest of the morning to learn topic work. We go out in the afternoons to groups or historic places. You could say my child doesn't follow school term times and we do formal learning in the morning. Or if you're a complete unschooler, you could say that, they're learning all the time, all throughout the year. That there's different ways of explaining full time, but there is no hour limit minimum.
It sounds very, I think your templates will be very handy.
Yeah.
Because it's all down to what you write and how you write it.
Yeah. We would advise against writing specific hours because it limits the local authorities thinking of how you're educating. If you say we do formal learning 10 while 2 every weekday of the year, yeah, that's a full-time education. But where's the informal stuff in that description? Is it actually describing a suitable education? Have you included playing with friends, going to groups, going ice skating, or whatever it is your child? The local authority wants to see the bigger picture of a suitable education to the child. So yeah, that the report writing guide we've got helps you cover providing that information suit.
I think what I saw the 12-hour thing on something someone sent to me, and their son was 17, and I think it's that post-16.
Okay, so that's for funding and benefits.
Yeah.
So to be entitled to child benefit, you've got to.
That was it.
Yeah, that would be completely separate because the child doesn't have to be in education after 16. So this is a benefit entitlement rule,
right?
Not a law for educators.
Yeah, that was it. They were inquiring whether they can still get benefits and universal credits.
Yeah. So the benefits we explain on the website, we've got very specific wording that you need to say because despite our hard work, we have had wording changed and things and clarifications. they still don't quite understand what home education is. Still see it as needing to tick boxes, and it's so limited on what they need to know in specific words to be entitled. But yeah, that's all explained on the benefits section of the website.
Yeah, well, we might do. Yeah, okay. What we wanted to cover today was deregistering,
Yep.
local authority, and what is like home educating, and what you do in the first initial bit. So informative, brilliant, amazing. It kind of like, right, I just want to know the nuts and bolts of everything, and you've just done that. Brilliant.
So just to add to all that, what people think home education is going to be like is not what you will do.
Yeah.
Don't spend months forcing your child to school while you make plans, while you print off things, buy books, buy materials. Don't do it. If your child's unhappy, unsafe, needs unmet, or you just want to home educate, do it. Those plans, trust me, I did it. Experience.
Yeah.
Those plans will be a waste of your time, because what your child becomes in them first few weeks and months will not be the same as what they were in school. They spent their school life being told what to learn and how to learn it. You've got to let them get that out their system, and what you get at the end of that won't be the same child when it comes educationally. And yeah, couple of things that we hear over and over again: I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah.
I wasted my time making plans.
I do hear that a lot. They're like, oh, I need to make sure everything's in place before we deregister and everything. So that's reassuring that I can now share that with people that inquire. And I'm like, if your child's unhappy, deregister. You can sort out what happens next.
Yeah.
When they've just had that moment that they need that relaxed time, and then boom.
Yeah. And in that relaxed time, they are learning. They're learning about themselves. That you can still get them involved in life and doing things, and it is still an education.
Life skills as well.
It's just different to what any of you have been used to.
Yeah.
So what a good explanation is, when your child comes out of school on the 6-week summer holidays, they're bored quite quickly. They need you to entertain them, because that's all they're used to. They're often insular. They might shut themselves in their bedroom. They might be boisterous and loud and running around.
Yeah.
But in that week 6, all of a sudden, for a lot of people, things seem nice, and your kids engaging and doing things and choosing things. And actually, if they didn't go back to school in the September, by that Christmas, you would have a child wanting to learn and picking things to learn and finding things to learn.
Yeah.
If you look at how they are through the summer holidays, and that change from I'm bored to Mum, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the summer holidays, but for me personally, I need sort of a bit of structure.
And that is fine.
And that's me.
So one of the things that we found when I started home educating, once we'd settled in a little bit, is that we did need some kind of structure. Needed to find a new way of doing it.
Yeah.
That wasn't dictated by the school system, that clearly hadn't worked for any of us.
Yeah.
And our structure became quite flexible in a way, but with a structure at the same time.
Yeah. So you know what you're going to be doing, and sometimes there's a time limit, sometimes not. I've had one, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, one parent was like, I want to get things sorted so that they have the same structure as school, and they spend the same amount of time as they would in school. And I'm like, you won't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You can be totally flexible when you watch those lessons and that.
And that's another thing. I mean, if I don't know how many kids you have at a time, whether it's one to one or whether you do groups, but a child is going to learn far more in that smaller, more personalised,
Yeah,
than they will in a class with 30 children. So
exactly.
somewhere on our social medias, we have this calculation thing. I can't quite remember how it goes, but we added up all the hours a child is in school, then took out lunch breaks, assemblies,
Oh god, yeah, assemblies.
time taken to settle the child in class, the time if the child's struggling or finishes early and has to sit and do nothing. And it worked out an average of something like 2 hours a day throughout a full year
Mm,
is learning time.
mm.
But then that learning time is one adult to 30
Yeah,
children. So a home ed kid, probably, if they did formal learning, could very easily cover a school year in a couple of months.
yeah. Well, GCSE courses, it's like you can get
Yeah,
it all covered in 1 year, even just doing 2 lessons a week, something like that. It's because it's so consolidated and you don't get disruptions or
yeah,
anything like that. The
yeah.
actual what you have to know is quite straightforward and well, not straightforward, but you can do it quite quickly.
And a lot of the concepts can be learned as the child is growing up, if you've got that privilege of home educating from a younger age, through just life. It
Mm,
even if you want to follow the curriculum, it's amazing how much of it is learned just in day-to-day activities.
yeah, yeah,
uh, and that's a learning curve for the parent. But yeah, what you think you're going to be doing is not what you will be doing.
yeah. Don't plan. I'm actually even with my teaching, if I plan it down to like the minute and everything, it all goes wrong. If I
Yeah,
just go in going, right, I need to do this, I'll get this little selection of things, and you just see how the class goes.
yeah,
It's so much better, so
yeah.
much better. Don't
I,
yeah. Sometimes being really strict with it, I'm like, it
yeah.
doesn't always work.
So
It's yeah,
one day in our home ed really stands out for me. We'd got over the hurdle of me thinking I had to do school at home, and we were a couple of years in, so my kids were various ages, and we'd planned on learning, I think it was the Vikings,
brilliant.
and we'd all talked about it. We'd gathered some resources. We had a whole library of books. This is some years ago,
Yeah,
before the internet was really a big thing. And we'd got everything set out. I'd got age appropriate different tasks for each
yeah,
kid. And we're all sat there and none of us could feel it. We just started flicking things at each other and messing about. I'm ADHD. What can I say? I'm as bad as a little kid. And we just did not feel the Vikings in that moment.
yeah,
And we just messed about. And it ended up where we got onto a random topic. We started talking about the mods and rockers. So we YouTubed it and brought up a video because I could tell them a bit from
yeah,
my age. And obviously, I weren't around then, but I've got. Um, and then I told them a bit about my childhood when I was a bit of a rocker, and then it sort of transpired into another conversation. And next thing I know, I wasn't too big for it, but they were all stood on dining table, dropping paper parachutes. That was our day
yeah,
that we'd planned on learning the Vikings. We never did cover the Vikings. And they've all aged out now, working on uni and stuff.
yeah.
But there is no sit still, be quiet, no
Oh,
ask that question. We are
mm,
When we go to museums as a home ed family, well, when we did, and you saw school children being told, no, it's not a time to be asking questions. Stand,
mm,
be quiet. No, we're not looking at that. We're looking at this. It used to break our hearts that,
mm,
you know, so yeah, if you're sat doing something with your kid and they want to know something else, go with it.
yeah.
Let that moment,
Definitely.
yeah,
I do it even with my tutoring. It's like, yes, I'm helping them learn. As one student, it's so lovely because she's like, Well, why is that? Why is that? Oh, what about that? And we do often go off on a tangent. It's all relevant to what she has
Yeah,
to learn. But, I show videos and pictures and stuff, and that to her is how she learns, not from a
yeah,
worksheet or yeah, doing that. These conversations are memorable
yeah,
as well. And I don't go, oh no, we can't talk about that. We must do this. That's not what my tutoring's about. It's like,
yeah.
because I love it when they ask questions. I
It's
love it.
good.
I'm like,
Yeah.
brilliant. Right, you just carry on with that. Let me just do a bit of. Let me find one.
It's really important because those kids first out of school aren't necessarily going to ask those questions. They
No,
might be scared to.
yeah,
Uh,
they're not. They're programmed not to.
they don't know how to query things
Mm,
or question what you're saying. They don't know how to research things. But if you start home educating younger, you've got that time for
mm,
that to happen. But if you deregistered an older child that wants to do GCSEs or go to college and do functional skills or whatever, it yes, they need to have that target of hitting those targets of the knowledge, but there are other ways of hitting those targets and getting information in, and it's the same throughout. You never need that formal learning. A child could learn everything just through conversation.
yeah.
They might never
Oh, I can
write
talk. Oh, I can
any.
talk for ages.
I mean, I
talking about talking about
remember it
talking for ages. We've been nearly chatting for an hour, but
easily
what we'll
done.
do, we'll sort of pause here,
Yep.
okay? But Cheryl, will you come back and maybe talk about something else? Have you got something else that you would like
Oh,
to?
there's loads.
No. Right, this is part one, a series of series one. There are 8 series to happen. There'll be like loads and loads of little videos with you and interviews, which will be amazing because things crop up, and I'm like, yeah, it's just really good to be in the knowledge, in the know-how of, is this the right option for me to home ed? And it's one thing that surprised me is just it's so easy.
It really can be.
It is so easy.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. But yeah, but every family is different. Some families, obviously, I'm more into hear more from teenage
Yeah.
aged children, so not the younger ones. So a lot of parents are going, oh, I've got to leave them to learn. I'm full time, or so there are difficulties, but at that age, they're yeah, it's yeah. Oh, it's just yeah. Some people find it a bit complicated, but
We'll
we'll
do a proper chat about teenagers and GCSEs.
yeah, I think so. Is there anything else that you think? Oh yeah, let's talk about that. What else can we?
I just want to reiterate that home education doesn't have to be forever, and make sure that you don't do it alone. Reach out to people, get in touch with home educators. All you've got to do is type in educational freedom and you will see us all over the place.
Yeah,
Whatever your choice of social media, you'll find us. And yeah, find home educators. Don't feel that you've got to do any of it alone. And as much as I hate saying it, don't trust what the local authority tell you.
would
Horrible.
you if I send you a request? Would you join? With National Tutors, they have a Facebook group where they can
Yep.
comment, write, and ask questions and stuff. Would you become a member of that in case people need
Yep.
you?
I'd be happy to.
That'd be
Yep.
amazing. That'd be good. Excellent. Right, I will leave it there then.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and we will be doing more very soon. But thank you very much.
Oh,
Oh,
can I completely forgot. We've done it this week. Home Education Awareness Week.
yes! Oh my God, that's what we're going to say, isn't it? Yes, yes. 28th of Feb.
28th of February until the 8th of March is Home Education Awareness Week. Hashtag home education, hashtag not invisible, and hashtag educational freedom. Share your home education story across social media. We
Brilliant.
need shouting loud and proud. And there are protests and rallies against the Children's Wellbeing Bill, which you can find out more details on our website.
Excellent.
And there's a competition for home ed kids as well. So you can find out, you could win £50 or 20. So yeah, everything's on the website or on one of our social
We will
medias.
be posting about that as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. And but yeah, thank you very much, Cheryl.
No worries.
I will stop recording now. Thank you.